Welcome to episode 2 of the Rebel Report. Coming up on this week's show, it's senior night for the Runnin' Rebels who try and hold off Wyoming, but tournament time approaching for both basketball squads. Kathy Olivier will sit down and tell us why her team can make a run in March. UNLV baseball hosting its home opener against West Virginia, plus how the Rebels have been affected and also making an impact on cancer. That and more coming at you right now.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Rebel Report. I'm your host, Cassie Soto.
And I'm John Castanino. Now, as if the Runnin' Rebel basketball season hasn't been dramatic enough, it's hit a new level this week. On Wednesday, Derek Jones has been ruled ineligible to play. We'll have more on that in just a bit.
Jones played a major role in Saturday's senior night victory over Wyoming. Justin Guzman with the highlights.
It's senior night here on Tarkanian Court, and the Rebels take on Wyoming in the last home game of the season. Led by senior guards Ike Wamu and Jerome Seegers, Rebels looking for a big win. Well, let's jump right into it. Like I said, it's senior night. Last home game of the season is always a special event. Former boxing champion Zab Judah in the house. He's got a fight coming up March 12th at downtown Las Vegas Event Center. Former Runnin' Rebel coach Dave Rice showed up to pay tribute to his guys as well. Senior guards Ike Wamu and Jerome Seegers had a great game. Wamu constantly attacked the basket, finishing the night with 18 points, a pair of threes included. Seegers was crazy hot from behind the arc. He would go 6 for 8 from the three-point line, also finishing with 18. But the seniors can't do it by themselves. Derek Jones Jr. This guy's athleticism is off the charts. He finished with a team-high 23 points, 9 rebounds, and a huge block at the end of the game. Here's Coach Simon on the growth of Jones.
I mean, he continues to evolve. I mean, the improvement in Derek from day one to now is just astronomical. I mean, to his credit, he's been a sponge. He loves to learn. He's so coachable, and, you know, it's really paying off.
And, of course, Rebel faithful are happy to see Steven Zimmerman back at the post. Only a double-double his first game back, 12 points, 11 rebounds on the night. Here's Zimmerman on how it feels to be back.
It was great. Sitting out was really killing me, and I know my team wanted me back and everything, so I was just really happy to be out there and try to give it all the energy I had.
So the Rebels win 79-74, and the seniors' last home game of the season ends in a victory.
Just being here, going through this year with these guys, it just meant a lot, just from the ups and downs and just going through adversity, so it was definitely one to remember.
With a healthy Zimmerman back on the block and the shooting guards on a three-point hot streak, the Rebels are definitely getting hot at the right time. For the Rebel Report, I'm Justin Guzman.
The Rebels get a week off to gear up for the final game of the regular season, Saturday against San Diego State.
Yeah, and they're going to have to do it without one very important player, obviously,
Definitely.
as we alluded to. Back to Derek Jones. He's been ruled ineligible for further play after his ACT score has been canceled by ACT testing. A lot of drama here. It's just starting to unfold. UNLV is looking into the matter. Early information, though, that says that Jones has nothing to do with this, and who knows if or when he'll actually get cleared to play again.
The Lady Rebels had 2 games this past week. Back on February 24th, at home to face the team Boise State Broncos. Summer Crowley takes us through that matchup.
Brooke Johnson dishes Nikki Wheelie the ball, who then feeds Dakota Gonzalez the first 3-point bucket of the game to give the ladies an early lead over the Boise State Broncos. Senior Allie Rohde powers her way to the basket to draw the and one play. She totaled up a score of 18 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 blocks. Johnson with her second steal, and she would lead the team with a career-high tying of 25 points and a career-high of 7 assists, beating the Broncos 78-68.
We needed this one. Everyone was really disappointed about the Reno loss, and you know, we come back at home. We're a different basketball team at home. We play inspired. I thought our seniors did an incredible job. The community support, like the Cox was popping. It was popping, and I thought our team just brought a lot of that energy along with the fans. And it was a good basketball game, a very, very hard-fought basketball game.
Back on Saturday, Coach KO's squad went to Wyoming and lost 80-57. The Lady Rebels' last home game, which is also senior night, is against San Diego State March 4th.
All right, the Lady Rebels also recently beat Air Force in their annual Play 4K night. It's a foundation that helps promote breast cancer awareness. Barbara Farkas explains the significance of this game to a freshman impacted by the illness.
UNLV hosted their annual Play 4K night here at the Cox Pavilion, and an extra special meaning for one specific UNLV Lady Rebel. February 17th marked the first time in her collegiate career that Paris Strawther played honoring breast cancer awareness. The freshman played with a heavy heart, as she does every game, after losing her mother Lourdes, also known by her family and friends as Cookie, to the battle with breast cancer in 2011 when Paris was just a freshman in high school.
I miss her a lot. And when I saw those survivors out there on the court today, I was really happy for them, you know, because I don't know what they've been through, but I've been a part of that kind of experience with my mom, and I just wanted her to be out there. I wish she was a part of that group.
When Paris made her first points of the game, her family and friends' cheers could be heard throughout the pavilion as they support her at all of her home games. But Paris also has another family away from home, and that's the Lady Rebels team that she has grown so close to in a short period of time here at UNLV.
It's a sisterhood, and we want to make sure that we're a family away from their real family. And Paris felt it. She felt it this week. Her teammates definitely had her back. She has major support here in town with her family and friends.
Paris is a local all-state product who played at Liberty High School, where she averaged a double-double after taking her freshman year off from playing basketball following the death of her mother, but returned to the court as an outlet, helping her cope with the pain.
Not that I resented basketball, but like I felt like it almost took me away from the times that I could have spent with her. So it was rough. It was rough. I just realized then, like, you know, basketball wasn't something to give up. And I know that she loved watching my games, and she loved that I was playing basketball. So I needed to get back into that. And I know I love basketball. I've come so far from that. And, you know, I was obviously down in the beginning. It was rough. But I've just learned from all that experience, and it's been great. I'm happy where I'm at, and, you know, how everything went is good.
Every time Paris steps on the court, she plays knowing that her mother is watching over her and continues to be her inspiration on and off the court. For the Rebel Report, this is Barbara Farkas.
Thanks, Barbara. The UNLV community certainly supports Paris and her family, and we look forward to watching the Lady Rebel freshmen continue to grow on the court.
The UNLV men's soccer team has recently signed a new midfielder that's been fighting his own battle with cancer, but the Rebels are stepping in to help him through his fight. Jeremy Felstad has always had a passion for soccer, playing as a midfielder for Heat FC and being a fan of the MLS team, the Portland Timbers. Playing such a physically intense sport, there are bound to be some injuries, but sometime last March, Jeremy was suffering from leg pain that finally led him to the hospital in May. Over the next few weeks, tests would be done until the final result came back. Jeremy was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia. This diagnosis could easily affect the mentality of a person, but as Dad Craig explains, Jeremy did not let the cancer change the person that he is.
I'm a cancer survivor also, so when he started going through this, I started to realize maybe more of why I'm alive today, right? But at the same time, kids going through something like this are way more resilient than adults are. Kids really don't have the same level of complaining that adults do. He doesn't complain through the health aspects of this. Very seldom. He could be throwing up and he's still not complaining about it. Maybe a little, but overall he really doesn't complain about that kind of stuff.
So what's the connection between Jeremy and UNLV? It's Team Impact, an organization that partners children with life-threatening and chronic illnesses with college athletic teams. Through Team Impact, children can learn the values of sportsmanship by signing official contracts that make them a member of the team.
You are going to sign right here where that red sticker is, and this is going to give you the ability to play for the University of Nevada, Las Vegas men's soccer team. let's hear it for Jeremy once he's done.
Coaches and players alike understand that these types of opportunities give kids the motivation they need to push through tough treatments with the help and support of an entire team on their side.
I think, we can't get to everybody, but if we can touch a few lives, it'd be great. Jeremy did say that he's got good days and bad days, and that the medication he's taking sometimes really puts him down in his stomach. So we want to be kind of a group that he can rally behind, and we want to be there to support him as well. And I think it's going to be important in his life as well.
As a team, it's just know that everything is done together. For example, I understand that he's suffering and he's doing things alone, but right now as a team, for example, when we lose, we all lose together. So if we share those kind of moments with him and show him that he's not in this alone, I feel that he can become stronger and he's gonna fight.
As the newest Rebel, Jeremy received the privilege of leading the team huddle.
Rebels on 3! 1, 2, 3!
Rebels! But through all the excitement, Jeremy offers this piece of advice to anyone going through a situation similar to his.
To not get worked up if you're super scared, just be calm.
The treatment for leukemia is typically a 3-year-long process, and Jeremy has already completed his first year. We wish him a speedy recovery and maybe another signing day at UNLV in a few years.
Yeah, that's a tough kid. Great story.
Thanks.
But Jeremy, you talk about resiliency. I think you
Definitely.
see it in a 10-year-old kid right there. Now we're going to stick with soccer. We don't have the pleasure to see things happening very often, the MLS and UNLV together.
Yeah, that's right. Earlier this month, we had the presence of an MLS team here on campus, and Natalia Lancelotti explains that UNLV men's soccer squad took full advantage of this visit.
UNLV opened up its doors for some special guests. The San Jose Earthquakes are holding a workout here at the Peter Johan soccer field. Las Vegas is popular when it comes to be the host for multiple sports events, but UNLV this time takes the lead for one of the most prestigious MLS teams for practice. The Rebel soccer team had a sneak peek of how professionals prepare for a game.
It's good for the school, it's good for our team too. A lot of our players, that's where we aspire to be, so it's good to get a glimpse of what it's like.
It gives the players an insight as to what we want to be in the future.
It's people we look up to all the time, so it's good to see what they do when they're practicing and how serious they take it.
San Jose Earthquakes are one of the 20 teams in Major League Soccer. This club won 2 MLS Cups, one in 2001 and the second one in 2003. Last year, the club opened its new home, Avaya Stadium, which holds 18,000 fans. Reporting for UNLV, Natalia Lancelotti.
Thanks, Natalia. We hope to see more events like this here, and we have the opportunity for soccer fans to get to see the sport that they love here in our home of Las Vegas.
Yeah, moving on now to track and field. The UNLV women's track and field team is off to a nice start this season, and practice for the ladies is just one of the many things that they work on the track. Let's toss it over to Summer Crawley, who gives us details on the team.
The team looks to make big strides this season as they put in a lot of hours on the track to reach their ultimate goal, to be champions. For the Rebels, it takes hard work, dedication, commitment, and excellence. Who better to coach them than an NCAA All-American, 2-time Olympian, and 8-time national champion, Yvonne Wade.
My entire staff has all competed at a very high level, both collegiately and professionally, and we bring a lot of expertise to what we do, and the intensity in which we train, goes into everything that we do each day, and hopefully the girls have grabbed a little bit of that and can take it in to the competitions each week.
My coaches and their history ultimately make me a better person because I know they have great intentions, and everything they tell me is only to benefit me in the long run. They've been there, they went to where I want to go, so I can do nothing but take their advice and move forward every day at practice with it.
New week, new goal, and heading into weekend meets means practicing and preparing for great performances.
Well, each week has a different purpose and each meet has a different purpose. So every week we're going to assess what we need to do based on the previous competition, go back to the drawing board and work on the things that need to be worked on so we can go in with a competitive spirit.
The track and field team is on to a great start this season, and the progress is being made each week, leading them to the future.
Well, the talk is the positive energy and the great talent that we have. The girls have really been committed to the hard work that it takes to be winners and champions this for the indoor season. So with the talent that we have, I think that we can do great things.
The squad finished 6th at Mountain West Conference Indoors last week. The team's focus is on the outdoor season, which sets off March 17th through the 19th at the UNLV Track Classic Sheila Tarr-Smith multi-events. Now sending it over to Barbara with this week's guest, Coach KO.
Thanks, Summer. We continue our Lady Rebel talk in this show. Joining me in studio, we have Lady Rebel head coach, Ms. Kathy Olivier. Thank you for joining us on such short notice. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
So first up, I guess kind of wanted to ask, does this season fly by as quickly for you as it does for the fans?
This year has flown by. There's times when it's been a little longer and you're thinking, okay, come on, let's get on to that next game. But when the conference starts, you're just playing, you're practicing for one day, prepping, and playing, and it just flies by.
I mean, it's March. You have your final home game this Friday against San Diego State. Can you talk about how critical that game is going to be for the Lady Rebels?
I was just telling somebody that every game for the last 7 games have been critical. So this is another huge game. It's our senior night, like you said. We have 2 seniors, and hopefully we're playing for them. And we're going to be playing with a lot of passion, a lot of energy. And it's, for the fans to see us the last time in Cox Pavilion. San Diego State's a good team. They battle with us. We beat them at their place earlier. And I think it's just going to be a challenge. Every game's tough. Every game's a challenge, so it's going to be a tough one.
So speaking of senior night, you are going to be losing your 2 bigs in Allie and Amy next season. Can you talk about the contributions they've brought to you?
Amy and Allie, great seniors. They do a little bit of everything. They bring that confidence. When you're a senior, you bring that confidence to the table. They're both very knowledgeable. They have started many games for the Lady Rebels. Lot of rebounding, good size inside, defense. I mean, they just bring so much to each game, and they know what's going on. They're students of the game. They have so much pride and of being like Lady Rebels, and we love that about them. So it's going to be the senior celebration after the game, and everyone's going to make it a big deal, and it's going to be about Amy and Allie that night.
So Lady Rebels currently do sit in the 5th place. You hold tiebreakers. Can you just talk about what it makes for this team to make a deep tournament run?
Well, again, that 5th, we're riding on that 5th place, 6th place. You want to be the top 5. You always want to be in the top half of the conference. We've had games where they could have gone either way. It's kind of like a 3rd season when that Mountain West Conference tournament starts. So that's kind of what we're thinking right now. But you don't want to underestimate the San Diego State game. You want to finish on a positive. You want to finish strong. You want to finish confident going into that Mountain West tournament. So if we're 5th seed or 6th seed, we're ready to go. And for us, it's about the Mountain West tournament. It's about we're still at home, and we got to remember that. We're playing at home. We've played all these teams. We've been close to all these teams. We're excited to start our 3rd season, so to speak. And it's a whole new season. Everyone's 0-0 going into the Mountain West Conference tournament. I think it's going to be very close in so many ways. There's so many teams that can upset other teams, so it's going to be a really good challenge for us in the Mountain West Conference tournament.
So I have to ask this question about the Twins. How have they impacted for you guys on and off the court?
I mean, the Twins are amazing. They do so many positive things for us. I mean, they're very passionate about the game of basketball. They give some crazy effort every time they step on the floor. They're energetic. Dakota has been shooting the ball a little better than Dylan, but Dylan comes in and brings this crazy passion on Dee, and she can light it up at any time. So they both are very talented, and they're just going to get better and better the more they play and the more experience they get.
And it seems like this season you have a great mix of guard play and front court, and that's going to contribute very well in the tournament.
That's so true. I mean, we have good size inside with Allie and Amy, they're our seniors. We have very talented perimeter players with Nikki Wheatley, Brooke Johnson, obviously Dakota and Dylan. So we have a lot of options, and you know, it's tournament time. Everyone's got to step up, so hopefully everyone will.
And we have time for one last question. Can you talk about the growth of this team throughout the season?
Okay, that's a good one. We're young, but now we're not. We're experienced, and this team has been very good. They've played together. They've played with unbelievable energy and heart, and that's what Lady Rebel basketball is about.
Well, thank you again, Coach. We really appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, let's send it back over to John and Cassie with a look at Rebel baseball and the swim and dive team.
The UNLV men's baseball team hosted its home opener back on Friday against West Virginia. The Rebels and the Mountaineers played a 3-game set. Joanne Mendoza with a quick recap of Game 1.
The team opened up the season Friday night against West Virginia. The boys quickly let 6 runs by them in the first 2 innings, allowing West Virginia to take the lead 6-1. The Rebels then came back with a strong defense, shutting out the Mountaineers for 6 innings. As the 5th inning approached, the Rebels began to receive the momentum, scoring 3 runs. During the 8th inning, they came back and tied the game, but unfortunately, the Mountaineers managed to come back and score 3 more runs on them, beating the Rebels 9-6.
West Virginia would go on to win all 3 games of the series. UNLV record sits at 1-5. Rebels head coach Stan Stolte hopes that the tough competition to start the year will pay dividends down the road. This weekend, the Rebels will host San Jose State.
This week's Outstanding Rebel of the Week is Michelle Troop, a senior on the women's swimming and diving team. Recently, the Rebels claimed 5th place overall in the 2016 Mountain West Women's Championship. Troop became the first Rebel since 2014 to win an individual title. The senior, again, won the 100-meter freestyle event. Now Victoria Bass is going to let us know what the men's swim team has been up to.
UNLV's men's swim and dive team is looking to do well in the men's last chance swim meet this Saturday in order to lock down a spot for the NCAA championship. The Rebels recently claimed 1st place in platform diving thanks to senior swimmer Lucas James. James won the first conference title for UNLV in a diving event since 1987. The Rebels placed 4th overall in the Western Athletic Conference.
For this next meet, my main goal is basically just to do the best that I can. So on each board, I think it's the top 9 people go to NC2As. For me personally, I just want to do the best that I can. I can't control what other people do, so I just want to have do the best meet I can do. You know, get the best scores possible. And if that means me going to NC2As, that'd be awesome.
I mean, the swim team did very well and went to conferences. There were a lot of personal best performances. So again, on the swim side, the overall quality has improved. And on the diving side, I mean, we're stronger than ever. Luke was able to break the school record as well as the conference record on platform, which is an event that we only get to practice about once a month, so that was a huge deal. And as far as the girls are concerned too, I mean, they're doing better than ever. We got 2 girls going to zones. They're both contenders to make NC2As, and the next 3 years are going to be very exciting with them.
And of course, best of luck to the swim team on that meet this weekend.
It's now time to throw some leather and learn some cool moves from the sweet science.
Yeah, the Rebel Report's Leonardo Schauer. He takes us inside UNLV's boxing gym, where head coach Chris Ben will teach us a few boxing moves.
Leonardo Schauer for the Rebel Report, and we're here at the boxing gym at UNLV with head coach Chris Ben. Chris, thank you for having us very much.
My pleasure.
And today, Chris is going to be teaching us some of the basic moves of boxing. What you do with your hips, what you do with your feet, and what you do with your hands.
I want a good hip width stance, and then if I'm right-handed, I'm gonna bring my right leg back behind where it was. I don't wanna have my legs standing like on a wire. I need that space between my knees about a hip width apart. My front foot is my radar. I always point my front foot directly at my opponent or my target or the bag, whatever it is I'm hitting. And then the back foot, I'm kind of up on the ball of my foot, my heel's off the ground. From here, I'm going to take my right shoulder, pull it back a little bit. I'm going to bring my elbows in and then pick my hands up in front of me, between me and my target. Now that I'm in my proper stance, we're going to go over a few punches. The first punch is a jab. Jab comes straight off the chin. It's with my lead hand, and I turn it over, I land it on my step. So every time I step, I punch. The foot and the punch land exactly at the same time. I don't want to reach in to the punch. That's where I get hit. That's when I get countered. I'm going to drive off my back toe directly towards the target. I'm going to use my front foot as my timing. And there's the jab. Straight off my front foot, driving off of my back toe, and I'm turning and punch over on my step. Lead with the pivot in the hip. That's what brings the punch. I don't want to lead with my arm. No matter how big my muscles are, I can't punch hard with my arm. I want to use my whole body in a pivot. And again, I'm not done until I'm back in position. All right, that's the 2, that's the right hand. The last punch I'm going to show you today will be the left hook. It's with the lead hand. If I pivot forward on the right hand, I need to come back to position. I'm going to pivot back using my front foot. And the hook lands again right over my front foot. Once that hook lands, I'm right back to position. Right back to here. That's a 1, 2, 3. Jab, cross, left hook.
To learn more moves from the Sweet Science, make sure to visit Coach Chris and the UNLV Boxing Club in room 317 of the MPE building on campus. For the Rebel Report, Leonardo Schauer.
The UNLV Boxing Club is open Monday through Friday, starting at 10 a.m.
Yeah, and also be sure to check out some of the Boxing Club members. They compete at Phase 1 Sports. That's on West Akendo Road between Russell and Decatur. That event takes place March 12th at 3 o'clock.
That's that.
We're done.
We're done.
Show 2.
Show 2. Thank you all for joining us on this week's edition of the Rebel Report. And now let's check out this week's sports highlights. But remember to stay tuned for next week and follow us on our social media accounts, including subscribing to our YouTube channel, Rebel Report UNLV.